I made the biggest update to my combat robot yet. But first, here's all the changes, iterations, and lessons that got us here. My robot in question is a 1-pound flipper called Bigfoot. I've taken it to about 5 events already, but we'll start from the beginning. It started as a 2-wheeled plastic ant, but after losing a match the first time my wheel came off, I switched to 4. Using 4 motors in direct drive forced me to replace my Malinky Nano with the high voltage version to accommodate the extra current. I like the Malinky because it saves weight and complexity by combining the receiver and the speed controller. On the subject of drive, Bigfoot's wheels are molded Vitaflex 30, which gives it good traction in order to push other bots around and control the match. Additionally, the wheels are ablative because a stuck wheel slows us down more than a missing one. Bigfoot can usually drive well even while missing a wheel or two, which is good considering we never go 2 minutes without losing one. Taking us back chronologically, in order to move Bigfoot to Open Ant, I replaced the printed PETG parts with printed TPU and Easy Nylon. Additionally, I replaced the printed forks with laser-cut AR500 steel. After a couple events, I went from 4 forks to 2 so that they could have a larger cross-section and not get bent so easily. The new forks handle hits better, but vertical spinners seem to find more angles on me with the fewer forks. Also, the new forks have a more limited movement after I had to learn the hard way that was needed. Shout out to Remy for the tip about using tape to limit the fork movement before I got the new batch of forks. Now, onto the weapon. Bigfoot's flipper is indirectly powered by a servo using this mechanism of linkages. This protects the servo and allows me to control the speed and torque in the design phase. Since the flipper is just plastic, I put it behind a TPU wedge. Consequently, I typically only lose the flipper from unforced errors or top attacks. But honestly, you could say the wedge is more important than the flipper. The last change I made before the most recent revamp is the little hook I added to the flipper so I can clamp down if needed. Version 2 of Bigfoot had fought in 4 MRCA qualifying events, resulting in 12 wins, 4 knockouts, 8 losses, and a 3rd place trophy. Those changes happened incrementally over time, but now I've made the biggest alterations since the jump from plastic to Open Ant. Most of the electronics have been overhauled, with the 2-cell LiPo battery being replaced with a 3-cell, the 4 800 RPM Turnabout N20 motors being replaced with the 3mm shaft Repeat Robotics Mark IIs. This results in a higher speed and torque from the drive, the gearboxes should be more durable, and these motors also have longer shafts, so my wheels should stay on. But wait, won't this add 50 grams to a robot that is only 1 pound, I hear you asking? You're right, but here's how I got the weight back while having some to add to print layers to the bottom plate. I replaced Bigfoot's Go Build a Speed servo with the King Max KM1203MD servo that has comparable torque and speed but at a third the weight. Side note, because of the battery switch, I added a BEC to control the voltage going to the servo so I don't burn it out. Alright, back to saving weight. Previously, the flipper and servo mounts were separate from the bottom to protect it if they broke, but they never did, so I made them part of the bottom. This got rid of 8 3mm screws and nuts and simplifies the assembly. Additionally, the lower part of the motor mount was also its own part, but now they're part of the front and back. This allowed me to get rid of 4 more screws and should prevent this. Or this.
It seems like the ramp in front of Bigfoot.
The top also uses 2 fewer screws, which brings us up to 12 fewer screws and nuts, which adds up weight-wise in an almost entirely plastic robot. And now, getting away from weight, I subtly but importantly changed the geometry of the flipper such that it sits below the top of the wheels and more easily drive upside down. Lastly, I made changes to my configuration for fighting horizontals. Before version 3, I just had a forkless version of the wedge, but now I have a titanium plate bolted to the wedge. We'll have to see how well it stays on, because I have concerns about them catching the edge. Ideally, these changes will make Bigfoot a bit more reliable in the arena. Our next event is Bet Spots in July, so be sure to subscribe so you can catch the recap. Thanks for watching.